In the clip presented today on my YouTube channel, I will talk about how weather conditions affect flight, and pilot decisions. Stay like this, but stay with me in the next few minutes to be up to date. Weather can be a critical factor when it comes to flying. Although modern technology allows flying in various weather conditions, the pilot must consider several factors before deciding to take off. Weather can influence pilot decisions regarding flight routes, altitude, speed, and many other important aspects of flight. In this article, we will explore how weather conditions can affect flight, and how the pilot makes crucial decisions to ensure the safety of passengers and flight attendants. Influence of weather conditions on flight. Weather conditions can have a significant influence on the flight and affect its safety and efficiency. Weather can affect various aspects of flight, including flight routes, flight altitude, aircraft speed and direction, takeoff and landing, navigation and communication with an air traffic controller. First, weather can influence flight routes. The pilot may need to take an alternate route or bypass an area of hazardous weather conditions, such as severe turbulence or thunderstorms, to ensure the safety of passengers and crew. In addition, weather can also affect flight planning with respect to distance, flight time and fuel consumption. Second, weather can affect flight altitude. When there is severe turbulence or low visibility conditions, the pilot may have to descend to lower altitudes to avoid hazardous conditions. On the other hand, in strong wind conditions, the pilot may decide to climb to higher altitudes to avoid turbulence and maintain a constant airspeed. Third, the weather can also influence the speed and direction of the aircraft. Strong winds can affect the direction of the aircraft and may require a flight path correction. Strong crosswinds can also affect the speed of the plane, which can lead to increased fuel consumption or delays. Last but not least, weather can affect takeoff and landing. Fog, rain or heavy snow can affect visibility, which can lead to flight delays or cancellations. Strong winds or their wrong direction can also affect the takeoff and landing process, which can lead to safety issues. Therefore, weather conditions can significantly affect the flight and require quick and accurate decisions by the pilot to ensure the safety of passengers and crew. That's why it's important that pilots are well trained through pilot training and consider all weather aspects before making important decisions. How can weather conditions affect the flight? Weather conditions can affect flight in a number of ways: by creating dangerous situations for the aircraft, passengers and crew, or by causing flight delays and cancellations. Here are some of the most common ways weather conditions can affect flying. Turbulence. Strong turbulence can affect the stability of the aircraft and can be dangerous for passengers and crew. These can be caused by weather conditions such as strong winds or temperature differences in the atmosphere. Turbulence may cause the pilot to change altitude or flight path to avoid hazardous conditions. Low visibility. Fog, rain or heavy snow may reduce visibility, which may result in flight delays or cancellations. The pilot may have to delay takeoff or go around a low visibility area to ensure the safety of passengers and crew. Wind. Strong winds can affect the direction and speed of the aircraft, which can lead to delays or changes to the flight route. In addition, strong crosswinds can affect the takeoff and landing process, which can be dangerous. Ice. Ice or sleet can build up on the wings and other parts of the airplane, which can reduce the aircraft's performance. They can also affect the pilot's ability to control the aircraft. Lightning storms can be dangerous to the airplane and can damage the aircraft's electronic system. Temperature. Extreme temperatures, whether very high or very cold, can affect aircraft performance. For example, very cold temperatures can cause the fuel to freeze, which can cause engine problems. Atmospheric pressure. Changes in atmospheric pressure can affect aircraft performance and cause aircraft systems to malfunction. Flying in unstable weather conditions. The importance of meteorology in aviation is crucial for the flight to take place in perfect safety. Flying in unstable weather conditions can be an extremely stressful experience for pilots and passengers. Unstable weather conditions can affect aircraft performance and endanger flight safety. As mentioned above, turbulence is one of the most common effects of unstable weather conditions. These can be caused by updrafts and downdrafts and are common during storms or near mountain ranges. Turbulence can be both vertical and horizontal, and can affect aircraft stability by causing sudden changes in altitude and speed. Crosswinds are also a major concern during flight in unstable weather conditions. These can cause problems on takeoff and landing as they can cause the aircraft to deviate from its planned trajectory. Strong crosswinds can be particularly dangerous for aircraft with small wings or a large air contact area. Ice and sleet are other effects of unstable weather conditions that can affect aircraft performance. They can cover the wings and other parts of the aircraft, which can reduce the controllability of the aircraft. This can be extremely dangerous. as pilots must be able to control the aircraft precisely during flight. So, meteorology plays an essential role in aviation as weather conditions can significantly affect the safety and performance of aircraft. Knowledge of weather conditions is essential for flight planning. Pilots must take into account current and forecast weather conditions, as well as weather trends in the destination area and flight path. This can help pilots plan the safest and most efficient flight routes, assess fuel needs, and estimate flight time. In addition, knowing the weather conditions is also important during the flight. Pilots must be able to monitor weather changes and make real-time decisions to ensure flight safety. This may include changing altitude or flight path, deciding to land at another airport, or delaying the flight. Impact of storms on aviation. Storms can have a significant impact on aviation and can be extremely dangerous if proper precautions are not taken. Here are some of the negative effects storms can have on flying. Turbulence. One of the most common problems associated with storms is turbulence, so we bring it up again. This is an unexpected and sudden movement of the aircraft during flight caused by atmospheric disturbances. Thunderstorms can cause severe turbulence, which can affect the stability and control of the aircraft and endanger the safety of passengers and crew. Ice. Storms can commonly bring precipitation in the form of ice, which can deposit on aircraft and affect their performance. Ice can increase air resistance, which can lead to a decrease in airspeed and an increase in fuel consumption. In addition, ice can affect aircraft control and increase the risk of engine damage. Low visibility. Thunderstorms can significantly reduce visibility in the air and on the ground. This can make navigation of the aircraft as well as takeoff and landing maneuvers difficult. In addition, reduced visibility can increase the risk of collision between aircraft or other objects. Interruption of airport services. Storms can cause airports to be temporarily closed due to inclement weather. This can lead to flight delays or even cancellations, which can affect passengers' travel plans. In conclusion, weather conditions can significantly influence the flight. Although aviation technology has made significant advances in recent decades, there are still a large number of weather variables that can affect flight operations. Sometimes these conditions can lead to flight delays and cancellations, while at other times they can pose a real risk to the safety of passengers and crews. It is therefore important that pilots and airlines carefully monitor weather forecasts and take appropriate measures to minimize risks and ensure a safe and comfortable journey for all passengers. In the clip presented today on my YouTube channel, I will talk about how safe are airplanes. Stay like this, but stay with me in the next few minutes to be up to date. In 1 year, approximately 500,000 people die on the world's roads. By contrast, in 1996, the number of deaths in airplane accidents was 1,945. In 1997, the number dropped to 1,226. According to statistics compiled by the aircraft manufacturer Boeing, for commercial jet aircraft, for every 1 million of flights, at most 2 planes crash. However, all air disasters are highly publicized, while the daily carnage on the roads is considered commonplace. In the United States, only bus travel is considered slightly safer than air travel. Why is a plane safer than a car? An obvious reason would be that, unlike cars on the road, airplanes don't usually fly side by side. Another reason would be the fact that most aircraft crew members are very well trained and approach their responsibilities with high professionalism. A captain on a Boeing 747 is usually over 50 years old and around 30 years of flying experience. Safety is the main objective of all crew members. After all, their lives are also in danger. Safety in cockpit. If you look inside the cockpit of a passenger plane, you will notice that all the main instruments and controls are double, one set on the left for the captain, and one on the right for the co-pilot. Thus, in the event that one of the pilots passes out, the other has all the necessary controls to fly safely. During the flight, each pilot can watch the other's instruments, making sure that they indicate the same thing on both panels, says the Air Traveler's Handbook. Another thing that contributes to safety is the fact that the 2 pilots, the captain and the co-pilot, usually have different menus, this being a precautionary measure. Why is this done? So that, in the event that one of them has indigestion, the other is not affected. To guarantee control over moving elements such as flaps, landing gear and brakes. Passenger aircraft usually have 2 or more hydraulic systems in case one fails. A standard safety rule for most modern aircraft is doubling or even tripling these systems. What can you do as a passenger? Here are some simple precautions any passenger can take. Read the emergency instruction sheet and pay attention when the flight attendants explain the safety measures at the beginning of the flight. When you take your seat, check where the nearest exit door is, and in case of emergency, follow the instructions given by the flight attendants. They are all well trained to deal with difficult situations that may arise. When certain instructions are given, it is very important that passengers move quickly and not worry about their belongings. Life is much more important than material things. Modern airplanes generally fly over or near areas where atmospheric conditions can be unfavorable, so most long-haul flights are very smooth. As a result, very few people get airplane sickness. If turbulence is expected, the captain usually advises passengers to check that their seat belts are fastened as a precautionary measure. Could air travel be safer? The answer is yes, but most passengers will not agree with the change that is required. What would this change be? The seats should be placed against the direction of flight. What advantage would this arrangement present? During a sudden deceleration, passengers would be held by the back of the seat, and not just by a lap belt, which provides incomplete protection compared to most car seat belts, which also have a strap across the chest. However, people prefer to see where they are going instead of looking at where they have been. Are you afraid of flying? It is estimated that 1 in 6 adults in the United States is afraid of flying. For some, it is more than fear. It is a phobia, an exaggerated fear that can lead to panic reactions. What can help us? Being informed passengers goes a long way in overcoming anxiety. Worldwide, approximately 15,000 aircraft serving nearly 10,000 airports transport more than 1.2 billion people annually, with relatively few accidents or incidents. According to insurance company Lloyd's of London, air travel is 25 times safer than car travel. If you're nervous about air travel, read on books about flying, airplanes and pilot training. Read about the very high level of training required of pilots and the rules regarding sleep hours, pre-flight alcohol restrictions that pilots must comply with, and random drug tests. Also, there are biannual checks that the pilots must pass. It is a flight simulator that tests pilots' reactions in emergency situations. The simulations are so real that some pilots leave the simulator shaking and drenched in sweat. If a pilot fails the simulator test, he may lose his commercial pilot's license. In the case of pilots, the requirements are much higher than in the case of car drivers. Therefore, the more you learn about airplanes and pilots, the more your confidence can grow. You could also visit an airport, observe what the passenger procedures are, and watch how people react. You will notice that most of them get off the plane as if they were getting off a bus. Traveling by plane is something common for them. Watch the planes take off and land. Seek to understand the principles of aerodynamics that underlie flight and make flight safe. Appreciate these scientific principles. When you finally get to fly for the first time, tell the flight attendants that it's your first time flying, and you might be a little nervous. These well-trained crew members know how to help you relax and have confidence in the measures taken for flight safety. Try to relax. When the captain says the plane is ready to go, get up and take a walk down the aisle. You are probably about to conquer your fear of flying.